1. Which of the following best describes the primary role of a Georgia notary public? A. To provide legal advice regarding contracts. B. To serve as an impartial witness to the signing of documents. C. To interpret state statutes for signers. D. To authenticate documents for international use without further review. 2. When developing a training curriculum for new notaries in Georgia, which adult learning principle should be prioritized? A. Emphasizing rote memorization of statutes. B. Encouraging passive listening through long lectures. C. Relating notarial duties to real-world scenarios. D. Focusing solely on federal notarial practices. 3. In Georgia, what is the minimum age requirement for becoming a notary public? A. 16 years. B. 18 years. C. 21 years. D. 25 years. 4. A Georgia notary may perform which of the following acts? A. Administering oaths and affirmations. B. Providing estate planning advice. C. Drafting contracts for clients. D. Filing lawsuits on behalf of clients. 5. When mentoring a new Georgia notary, the most effective evaluation method to ensure compliance is A. Providing written statutes without context. B. Observing and assessing a mock notarization session. C. Assigning unrelated clerical tasks. D. Reviewing unrelated legal case studies. 6. Which document is a Georgia notary prohibited from notarizing? A. An affidavit signed by a family member. B. A will drafted by an attorney but not yet executed. C. A loan agreement between two strangers. D. A power of attorney in which the notary is named as agent. 7. In Georgia, a notary's commission is issued by A. The Secretary of State directly. B. The Clerk of Superior Court of the notary's county of residence. C. The Governor's Office. D. The Georgia Bar Association. 8. When preparing an educational workshop on Georgia notary laws, which method best supports adult learners? A. Using case-based scenarios of improper notarizations. B. Memorization drills without application. C. Exclusively reading from the notary handbook aloud. D. Avoiding participant engagement to save time. 9. Which of the following is a required qualification for a Georgia notary? A. Residency in Georgia or employment within the state. B. Graduation from law school. C. A federal background investigation. D. Completion of a university course in business law. 10. When evaluating a notary training program in Georgia, the most effective approach is A. Tracking how many participants receive their commissions. B. Assessing learners' ability to apply laws to hypothetical cases. C. Only administering a single multiple-choice test. D. Reviewing attendance numbers alone. 11. A Georgia notary's official seal must include A. The state name and county of commission. B. The notary's home address and phone number. C. The governor's signature. D. A gold-embossed emblem. 12. Which principle of mentoring is most relevant when guiding a new notary through complex ethical dilemmas? A. Providing step-by-step memorization. B. Modeling best practices through role play. C. Refraining from feedback to avoid bias. D. Emphasizing personal opinions over law. 13. The maximum term of a Georgia notary commission is A. 2 years. E. 4 years. 6 years. D. 10 years. 14. Which of the following is an example of a conflict of interest for a Georgia notary? A. Notarizing a document for a client in another county. B. Notarizing a document in which the notary has a direct financial interest. C. Notarizing an affidavit for a stranger with proper ID. D. Notarizing an acknowledgement for a coworker. 15. When designing curriculum for a Georgia Notary workshop, which component best enhances compliance learning? A. Reviewing statutory violations and their penalties, including unrelated legal history lectures. C. Encouraging debate on federal case law not related to notaries. D. Relying on outdated handbooks. 16. In Georgia, what is the notary required to do before notarizing a signature? A. Ensure the signer has valid government-issued identification. B. Ask the signer about their educational background. C. Require the signer to provide tax documents. D. Confirm the signer has legal training. 17. Which of the following may a Georgia notary charge for their services? A. No more than the fee authorized by state law. B. Any fee the notary considers reasonable. C. A minimum of $25 per notarization. E. No fee under any circumstances. 18. A Georgia notary may be removed from office for which reason? A. Relocation to a different county in Georgia. B. Failure to renew their driver's license on time. C. Acting dishonestly in the execution of notarial duties. D. Serving more than one employer. 19. When evaluating learners in a Georgia notary certification workshop, a best practice is A. Providing immediate feedback on mock notarizations. B. Refraining from correction until the final test. C. Allowing learners to self-certify competence. D. Ignoring errors to encourage confidence. 20. Which of the following records must a Georgia notary keep if their county requires it? A. A notary journal documenting each act performed. B. Copies of each notarized document. C. Tax returns of the notary's clients. D. Transcripts of all verbal statements made during notarizations. 21. Which statement is true about notarial acts in Georgia? A. A notary may notarize their own signature. E. A notary may notarize the signature of their spouse. C. A notary may notarize only if they are impartial and disinterested. D. A notary may refuse service based on personal bias. 22. In Georgia, the notary's oath of office is administered by A. A judge of the Superior Court or clerk of court. B. A federal magistrate. C. The Secretary of State directly. D. A county sheriff. 23. Which communication strategy is most effective in a notary mentoring program? A. Encouraging reflective questioning and discussion. B. Using only one-way instruction without dialogue. C. Providing technical information without examples. D. Avoiding communication to foster independence. 24. Which form of identification is acceptable for notarization in Georgia? A. A valid state driver's license. B. A handwritten letter of introduction. C. A birth certificate photocopy without seal. D. An expired passport from 10 years ago. 25. Which of the following actions exceeds a Georgia notary's authority? A. Notarizing an acknowledgement. E. Taking a verification upon oath. C. Certifying a copy of a vital record. D. Administering an affirmation. 26. When designing evaluation methods for Georgia notary candidates, which principle aligns with adult learning? A. Using scenario-based assessments. E. Only testing memory of statute numbers. C. Eliminating practice opportunities. D. Avoiding interactive exercises. 27. A Georgia notary must report changes of address to A. The clerk of Superior Court of their commission county. B. The United States Postal Service. C. The Governor's Office. D. The Georgia Attorney General. 28. Which best demonstrates regulatory compliance in notarial practice? A. Adhering strictly to Georgia statutes and county requirements. Following personal judgment over written law. C. Accepting any form of identification without verification. D. Charging unregulated fees. 29. Which is a prohibited practice for Georgia notaries. A. Advertising as an attorney if not licensed to practice law. D. Administering an oath in court. C. Notarizing an affidavit with proper ID. D. Charging the statutory maximum fee. 30. The renewal application for a Georgia Notary Commission should be filed. A. Before the commission expiration date. Within 1 year after expiration. C. Only upon the Secretary of State's invitation. D. Any time, regardless of expiration. 31. Which of the following learning strategies best supports notary trainees in Georgia who are visual learners? A. Flowcharts illustrating steps of notarization. B. Listening to lengthy lectures only. C. Memorizing lists of unrelated terms. D. Avoiding diagrams to prevent distraction. 32. A Georgia notary who moves to another state must A. Resign their commission in Georgia. E. Notify the Georgia Bar Association. C. Continue acting as a Georgia notary until expiration. D. Automatically transfer their commission. 33. Which action demonstrates ethical mentoring for notaries in Georgia? A corrective feedback based on observed behavior. B. Allowing mistakes to continue uncorrected. C. Encouraging shortcuts that violate statutes. D. Withholding information to test perseverance.